Hey, what's up, Dr. E in the house? I just received, after only 48 hours of my site being open on YouTube, a couple different requests to talk about the self in society. So, I did a little bit more thinking about this, and I thought, wonderful, what better time to do that than now? Our world is filled with many things that we need to consider in relation of ourself in society. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is something that's very interesting called the self-reference effect. So all of us have a self-reference effect, and it happens to be something that helps us to understand memories that actually have context that deal with us. And obviously, these are memories that could go all the way back to our second, third birthday. Where was it? What did this smell like? What was the temperature of the room? These kinds of things. And, the context is important because, in my opinion, in today's society, I feel that a lot of people are remembering things that are only important to them. This is not where we need to be on an interplanetary sense of working together. After all, society together as a community is a better place to be when more people are in fact happy. So let's get into this. This is a little bit of a meta-analysis about this. Is if you look into the self-reference effect, for example, residing in your hippocampus. This is an area of your brain that consolidates memory. So, if you were to have a stroke in the hippocampus area of your brain, the limbic part of your brain, this primitive area would then be damaging some of those memories that you had, good or bad. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Jim Carrey's character wanted to go to a professional who could remove these memories. These things are kind of sci-fi in a sense, but almost relevant as these things are occurring today. We had our first brain implant 2 weeks ago, yesterday, successfully conducted on somebody with Alzheimer's. And with Alzheimer's, obviously you have a subject who was living in much of a devastation, and not only is that person suffering, but their families are suffering tremendously as well. Friends and family are not remembered, and this is kind of the same effect you may get if you had a stroke in this hippocampal area. Now, with self-reference effect, would that save some of the damages from something like a stroke, an unfortunate stroke, or perhaps some kind of insult to that area of the brain? Well, a consolidated memory is something that's not solid. This is kind of the philosophical way of looking at memory. It is not memory that's similar to the memory that you would find in, say, your laptop. That kind of memory, or RAM, is significantly different because that is actual hardware. When you have a memory that's consolidated, it's interesting that we're not just looking at a brain part. We're looking at the neuronal processes surrounding that consolidated memory. So perhaps that memory resides in a hippocampal area of your brain, but it's perhaps expanded to other parts of your brain due to context, movement, cerebellum, smell, auditory, sensory processes. So it really doesn't remain in one part of the brain. And what I'm getting at here is that the self in society is you have a significant self memory of your relationship to the world that is very unique to you and individual to you. And that is something that is not shared unless either written, audibly talked about in speech or presentations, and even then, the references that you make are not those that other people would absolutely fully understand. So to integrate yourself into society would be to volunteer. to provide the services to others, to the community, so that you can be connected to others. You know, it's been said before that the self is not isolated in society. And although we feel that way, particularly when depressed or withdrawn or just feeling isolated or marginalized, however, the way to defeat that, and this is my message to you today, I hope you can take away from this small presentation, is look, you know, if you connect with others, then you will then reconnect with the self and its relationship to your environment and ultimately society. This has been a Dr. E moment, Dr. E in the house. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you over the holidays. Please keep sending those comments, suggestions. You know, I had a video earlier about requests from you. I'm happy to do these. And this was my first to you. Namaste. Dr. E in the house.